there was Amanda. If you go on my YouTube channel, you can listen to my conversation with her. She is in her 40s. She was in a master's program. And as part of one of her courses, she was asked to investigate some kind of social issue. And she chose race to investigate. And that's how she found my show. So she came on the show and we were talking about her evolution of race consciousness. She's a racialized white woman, grew up in and lived in Virginia her whole life. And she said she had this moment, of awakening and realization, just like all of us do, because that's how this works, part of the mechanism. And her moment was when she was talking with one of her friends, and they were talking about people who are racist and things that they might think. And she recounted, I can't remember exactly what she said about what they might think, but she recounted what that was, right? That they might think something. And then an hour into the conversation, she found herself saying that exact same thing that she had articulated was something a racist person would think or say. Right. And it shocked her because it was one of those moments whereby she couldn't deny that what she said was racist. Even her own self thought it was racist, right? So it forced her into a decision. Do I want to be that person? Do I want to hold on to believing that, thinking that? Or do I want to let go of it? Do I want to change? Do I want to be better? Honestly, Jose, that's all it takes. It takes people to be put to a decision. And the reason why conversation is so important is because people are never put to that decision. There is literally no situation for most people where they're ever put to such a decision. And so they are able to just coast by, willfully ignorant of what's going on around them, people's experiences around them, of their own internal unconscious bias. They're able to just kind of go through their life that way because they're never challenged about it. And so the only way that they're ever going to put to a choice is for people to start talking about it. And literally that is all it takes. Once people are forced into a choice, you would be surprised at how many people will choose to change. But if you're never put to the choice, then you never have the opportunity to change. And in America, that is tens of millions of racialized white Americans. And so I try to consider that reality, when I'm doing this work, because it allows me to have grace, right? And to not be so judgmental about what people think, right? I'm like, yeah, we're all born into this world ignorant, right? And we learn things over time. You and I learned about race over time, right? Through our experiences, but we were curious. And so we investigated. Not everybody has our level of curiosity. Not everybody has the ability to ask their family member about genetics. Not everybody has the ability to grow up with parents who are going to show them about the civil rights movement and teach them things at home. That's what I experienced. So I try to remember that. But when I put people to a choice, when I confront them with the reality of racial hierarchy, when I confront them with the reality of a generations long dehumanization of people at the bottom of a racial hierarchy and the fallacious elevation of people at the top, and this false human ranking system and its impacts over generations. If they still choose, right, to hang on to that, then I move on, right? That's your choice, okay? Do I agree with that choice? Do I think it's a good choice? Absolutely not. But I can understand it. But, if you're never put to the choice, how can I really judge such a person? What I judge is the country that made the environment and created and perpetuated an environment whereby people would not have the opportunity to choose. And right. So, yeah.
I do judge people's lack of curiosity.
Yeah, it's hard, right? I mean, it's hard. I'm a very curious person. I always have been from a very young age. But Yeah, I mean, curiosity blossoms for people for various different reasons. You know, some people,
That's
it's,
true.
yeah, I mean, it's just people have their different interests. So as a teacher, right, I teach math for those people who don't know who are watching. I teach writing as well, and music, and poker, and swimming, and various other things. But one thing that being a journeyman of sorts has like allowed me to do is make connections with people in so many different contexts. And my curiosity has allowed me to spark other people's curiosity, right? Everyone has curiosity about something. Everyone. Okay. So what you have to do sometimes is find out what that is and then make a connection between that thing they're already curious about and race. And as it turns out, that's pretty easy to do because race touches every context in some way or another. And so that's kind of the skill that I've developed over time. So it's almost like I was tailor made, Jose, to do this kind of work. But it also allows me not to be judgmental because I've seen people go from being incurious to being curious over and over and over and over and over again. So
Right.
because I've seen that, I know that people can change. I know that people can grow and people can become more curious. And so I just kind of look at people as potential instead of whatever they are at that moment, you know?
Yeah. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that you are a teacher, not just somebody who teaches by profession, but that being a teacher, wanting to teach, um, is part of who you are at your core, I would say. I think I noticed this the other day where I was kind of questioning, you extend so much grace to people that I see on your conversations, either on this platform or on Twitter, where I'm like, I would have been done with that person, so long ago. But uh, yeah, it was just something that kind of came to me where I was like, oh, it's because you care more about the act, I guess, of teaching, or the moment of being able to teach something to somebody, the moment where they might learn something, that you're able to separate yourself from it. So it's sort of bigger than you, or bigger than your ego. And I think that's why you're able to not take it personally, not be offended, kind of move past what it is they're putting out, so that you can make space for, I guess, what you're trying to allow in, which is that moment where they might spark that curiosity, I guess.
Yes, sir. You nailed it, Jose. The moment of enlightenment is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And every time it happens, I feel the same way. I feel like most people who experience that, they agree with me right away. Even people I staunchly disagree with about other ideas and things, no one has ever disagreed with me who has experienced that. It is so beautiful. It's so pure. And it's pure good, you know? And I think that people just, I, when I was growing up, I used to want to be a firefighter. Okay.
Yeah,
You know why? Because I was like, fire bad, putting out fire good, and I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just want to do good. That was kind of like what I wanted. But yeah, I would say the purest good that I found to be able to do is to enlighten others and to be enlightened myself. It's just as beautiful when it's me being enlightened. So I just found that pure good and I stuck with it, and it's only benefited me and others. And I think that that would be true for anyone else who is listening to this, who wants to kind of experience something pure like that. All you got to do is make yourself vulnerable, give of yourself, share the knowledge that you've gained, and be open to learning from others. Be open to other people's vulnerability and what other people have experienced and learned. And you'll experience those moments and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And it's worthwhile. It does require putting ego aside, of course. It does require sometimes a high level of sacrifice. I mean, I've had 5 hour, 6 hour long conversations, literally straight, where at the end of it, right, was a moment of enlightenment. Oftentimes, a very significant moment of enlightenment for them, And for me, it was like all my hard work, right? All my hours of investment has come to this point in this moment. And it's exhausting. After that happens, right? I'm
Yeah.
exhausted. But I've never thought that it's not worth it. So I hope that other people will endeavor to try to experience that for themselves, see if I'm right. I think that anyone who experiences it will will agree. Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support and see you next time.